the weekend here at Muscle in the Morning, and I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, April 20th, 2018. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I remember my grandma used to always say that it's the quiet ones you gotta watch out for. So if I were one of the athletes planning to hit the Cal Pro next month, this would probably be the time I start watching out for the quiet storm that is veteran powerhouse Nguyen. Once again, the California native is gearing up to make his annual pilgrimage out to the Cal Pro to make his season debut for the fourth straight season, where he'll be looking to recapture some of that magic he had back in 2015, when he essentially dropped the mic with a career-best 5th place finish. If he can get in shape, Nguyen has enough tools at his disposal to make him a pretty tough out. But at the end of the day, the battle will be won and lost on whether or not he brings the conditioning. And when he does, the competition better watch out. In the early rounds of these NBA playoffs, it's been the second half of the game so far that have made some of the matchups all sorts of interesting. And 7 weeks out from now, veteran big man Ken Jackson is hoping his second act can make things interesting in its own right. Last week, Jackson released a short clip from a post-training posing session that shows the Pride of Michigan starting to fire up the engines again. A few weeks back, Jackson put together one of the better looks he's had in years when he cruised to a top 10 finish at the Indy Pro. But now that he's got another 7 weeks to harness a little bit of that Chris Aceto muffin pump technology, let's see if he can keep building on some of that momentum. 9 times out of 10, if you see a guy hanging around the same bar every day at 2 in the afternoon, he's probably some sort of troublemaker and should probably run the other way. But if that guy happens to be Steve Kuclo and he's in the middle of blasting the hell out of a midday back workout, well, that might be a good time to stop and take some notes. Over the weekend, the King Snake was seen pounding down a few shots of midday deadlifts as he continues to crank along on this magical ride he's having so far this season. Up to this point in the year, Kuclo has looked like the guy we saw put together a top 10 Olympia finish once upon a time. So if he can somehow manage to figure out how to stay in the zone, the sky is really the limit for him when the Olympia time rolls around. If you're a classic physique pro, this might be the portion of the program where you go ahead and fast forward to the next segment, if you're one of those types who tends to get your feelings hurt. But if you're brave enough to stick around, here's a little bit of motivation to get you through the day, brought to you courtesy of your defending Olympia and Arnold Classic champ, Breon Ansley. Right now, the reigning king of the division is working his way through a little mid-season improvement phase, where he'll look to add a few more weapons to the arsenal before sounding the alarms for his big push down the home stretch. Over the last 18 months, Ansley's been able to answer the call time and again in a division that feels like it's so top-heavy, it's ridiculous. But until someone shows me that they've got the weapons to knock this guy off, in my book, this guy is a surefire favorite heading into every major event from here on out. I'll tell you what, it's amazing what a fresh Olympia qualification can do to recharge your training. And if you don't believe me, then I suggest you stop and take a look at Exhibit A, 2018 LA Grand Prix men's physique winner Felipe Franco. A little less than a week removed from punching his ticket to the biggest show on earth, the hottest export in Brazil isn't wasting any time getting his Olympia prep started. New chest training footage shows Franco cranking out a few reps with some light work as he jumps right back into things in preparation for his second career trip to the Olympia stage. When Franco's at his best, he wins shows with his conditioning and attention to detail. So now that he's found the winning formula this season, let's see if he can whip it up again down the road to really push for a top 10 or better finish at the Olympia. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Happy 420.